How good? How you all doing? We're gonna read some Bible tonight. Promised I would, and I'm going to. We have about six chapters left in this book. In this entire book, this is an accomplishment. Stick around, man. I don't even know who you are. I see one person up here. I don't know who you are. I'm assuming no one else does. Stay with us. So verse 23 of Matthew 21, I'm going to get right into it. I want to confess many times that throughout this campaign, I have not really wanted to be teaching that night. Is that wrong to say? I'm trying to be as upfront and honest with everyone as I possibly can. And tonight I would rather read alone, but I'm happy you're with me. And I know there's a brotherhood out there, and I know there are people watching this that are hopefully in it for my best interest. And I am in it for yours, or I would not be here. There's no other reason. Right? I'm completely throwing myself under the bus here. I'm 82, 86. That was the number I was whenever I was fit enough to be employed and perform for it's kind of a leatherneck every day. So God has let me do this now. I'm going to teach. I'm 2 minutes in. I'm a lot less long-winded than most preachers. I pray for wisdom, open hearts, open minds. Throw your traditions out the window for a minute and let's read God's word. Men have a lot to say. Professors have a lot to profess. But common sense also has a lot to say. If we listen to it, and that comes with God's word, it is wisdom. Wisdom and common sense are the same thing. Common sense is wisdom. Wisdom is common sense. And Christ is teaching it beautifully. Emmanuel, God with us. Verse 23, bear with me here. Not much to look at, but let's move forward in God's word. It says, not a fashion show. All right. Religious leaders challenge Jesus's authority. Okay. This is a headline. This is not Jim Clark saying this thing. All right. So let the chips fall wherever they may. The shoe fits wear it. Verse 23. And when he was come into the temple, the chief priests and the elders of the people came unto him as he was teaching and said, by what authority doest thou these things? And who gave thee this authority? I would like to interject, but I'm going to move forward. We'll recap these few verses. That's why I'm doing it in increments. Stay with me. Verse 24, and Jesus answered and said unto them, I also will ask you one thing, which if you tell me, I in likewise will tell you by what authority I do these things. The baptism of John, am I doing it by the baptism of John? Whence was it? Was it from heaven? Was it from God? Or of men? You tell me what authority I'm doing these things under. And he answered them with a question. And it is a legitimate question. And they know it. And Jesus answered them and said, and they reason within themselves. So when Jesus asked them, let's read this again so you take it in. I'm 4 minutes and 40 seconds in. Let's stay with this thing. And Jesus answered and said unto them, They ask him, what authority do you do these things? Do you do them in the name of witchcraft? Do you do them in the name of Wiccan? Do you do them in the name of Satan? Do you do them in the name of Baal? Do you do them in the name of Yahweh, of God, of the God of Moses? They want to know. So Jesus asked them, I also will ask you, chief priests of God. These are the priests of God that are questioning him. No doubt about it. Or Sanhedrin, ones that did not believe in a resurrection. I and likewise will tell you by what authority I do these things. If you can tell me, who do you say I do them by? And I'll tell you who I say I do them by. He was not dodging the question. He was just telling them, asking them what they thought. The baptism of John the Baptist is who he's talking about. Where was it? He's getting frustrated. From heaven or of men? No man has walked on and healed lepers and lived with the sick and taught the poor the gospel. Only him. And they know it. So they reason within themselves, saying, they're conspiring, is what they're saying. They're going in secret. If we shall say from heaven, he will say unto us, why did ye not then believe him? Verse 26 of Matthew chapter 21, if you care to know. If the Lords of Facebook will not curse themselves and allow you to see this. Verse 26 of God's word, but if we shall say of men, we fear the people, for all hold John as a prophet. And they answered Jesus and said, we cannot tell. We don't know. What they would have liked to have been able to say was it was of Satan or that it was of men. But they could not do it because the people, the good people, the believers, they stood for what they believed in. And the Sanhedrin knew that they would lose the favor of the people. Why? Because Christ's fruit that he was giving out was better than theirs. Okay? There's no denying when God is in something. When God is in something, it attracts attention. And people listen. And especially wise people listen. So when it tells me that there's nobody watching, and there's nobody giving me any thumbs up, I know that they're lying. Okay? And no demon in hell is going to prevail against God's word. It can only make it stronger, no matter what. Let's move forward. So Jesus asks them this thing. Who do you guys say it's by? How am I healing every single person that's coming to me and not asking a dime from them, feeding them, giving them what I can for nothing? You tell me, is that by Satan or is that by God? Is that how Satan operates? Does Satan give things away or does he make deals that he does not keep? Friend, this is common sense. If you can't answer that, then you're either lying or you are not able for me to be reached. Maybe you should find a different group. It's okay. I'm looking for a certain type right now. I'm going to bring them forth. And they always deliver this type, no matter what. So they reasoned within themselves and they said, we cannot tell. We can't tell whether it's from men or whether it's from God. We don't know. And he said unto them, neither tell I you by what authority I do these things, because he expects them to be fruit inspectors and see if good things and the furtherment of the kingdom of heaven is done by this man, or not. And they knew, how can you look at a man and he causes the blind to see and the lame to walk, and those with the palsy to be healed, and those with demons to be cast out, and not know what side that he is doing it from? Come on, man. Don't let these TikToks and these little things of men twist you and deceive you from meat. That is cotton candy. It's fluff. It's someone throwing a little temper tantrum because they have not been presented God's word in the right way, or that they just simply cannot comprehend it. At this point in the millennium, at the end of this millennium, where I'm saying we're at, in the very last time, when we're speaking out, what I say is they know, or they are reprobates. Those who will let at this point in time. So Jesus is not going to humor them and play into their little game that they're playing, that they know they're playing. He knows they're lying. They know they're lying. And it is what it is. When we come back into this, Jesus tells the parable of the two sons. Well, who is he speaking to? He's speaking on different levels. He's going to speak to the parable of the son, to where the poor and the uneducated can understand it and get something from it. And he's also going to teach it to where those with the dispensation of angels understand it. And what they do with it is up to them. If they want to use a technicality or play mean boy games or such things and try and get a leg over, he's going to give them an opportunity to convict themselves. This is an adult Bible study. I'm 12 minutes in. I'll keep this sermon to 12 minutes. Why do you call this a sermon, Jim? You're not ordained. Ordained by who? Ordained by who? I ask you, who ordains a man to be an apostle or a disciple? Many are called, few are chosen. And there are three different types of people in this world. I will hear people say different things. Well, I say it. There are sheep, and there are wolves, and there are the old sheepdog. There ain't very many sheepdogs. You don't take very many. Okay? And in Jesus Christ's name we do this. Always reading Bible in Christ's name on the plow. 13 minutes in. All minutes are God's indeed. Love you all because you love reading God's word.